Karthi Subramaniam asked me whether at what age should I make a will, and what comprises financial planning. I think you can just go to Google and say what comprises financial planning, and you will find a million answers. There is absolutely nothing to worry about. And at what age should you make your will? You should make your will before you die. If you know when you're going to die, maybe a day before that, or maybe 2 days before that, because if you have other work to do. Since we don't have any clue when we are going to die, you should make your will as soon as possible, and you should make a will if you have real estate, because your mutual funds, insurance, bank accounts will all move by nomination. Your movable assets will move by nomination, or physical assets, like if you have gold and jewelry, that can just be handed over. That doesn't really matter. But real estate will not move so easily, so that you need a will. So when should you make a will? You should make a will almost on the day that you buy a real estate in your name and have it registered. That's a good day to be making your will and saying, okay, it's like, when you take an insurance policy, when do you nominate your person? You nominate it on the day that you take the insurance plan. Similarly, for the real estate, the will acts as the nomination, because if you bought real estate land somewhere, you can't put a nominee there, right? So you can have a joint holder, and joint holder is not the nominee, right? So if you buy real estate, the day you buy the real estate, you should make your will. At least for that portion of the real estate, you need a will, and that's it. It's a simple answer. Again, a question: should I continue with ABSL Frontline Equity? I don't remember seeing the portfolio recently, but yes, it's a good fund with a good fund manager. So if you have no reason to complain about the working, you should. And if they are overloaded in any particular sector, that's a fund manager call. If you have a call different from the fund manager, maybe you should withdraw, but you shouldn't withdraw just because it is currently showing a poor return, because sometimes the portfolio is good, sometimes the results are good. So look at the portfolio. If you like the portfolio, stick around. Don't shift because the current working is bad, right? Because it could just come back and do well. So here is Arun BE, and he says, I always liked your videos. I am in the market since 2006. I lost money in 2007 because of infra stocks like GMR, JP, Punj Lloyd, Educom, Everon, Dunlop. Later shifted to mutual fund, UTI, Nifty Twins, HDFC Midcap Opportunity, DSP Small Cap, ICICI Value Discovery. Still SIP running and has good experience. From last 3-4 months, I entered into direct equities with less than 10% net worth. Now I purchase ITC, Tata Motor, DVR, IDFC, First Bank. Am I in the right track? Can I increase direct equity or stick to mutual fund? It's a very good question, because a lot of investors feel that they are better off doing direct equity investing, because direct equity investing is like driving a car. You press the accelerator, you see the car moving fast, you see I did this and this happened. So of course we also have bias like overconfidence, saying I know what I am doing, and you may be wrong. So we don't know. So since you have been an equity investor anyway through mutual funds, and you've chosen funds very well, see how is your performance vis-a-vis the performance of the fund manager. And please remember to market your portfolio. Look at ITC, Tata Motor, DVR. Both of them would have fallen if you've started say 2 years ago, and both of them would have risen if you started maybe 2 months ago. So you're not put the exact date, except that you've said last 3-4 months. So very good chance that you've lost money in ITC, and you must have just about making a little bit of money in Tata Motor, DVR, IDFC, First Bank. You are likely to be in the black. Now, having done this, keep comparing your performance vis-a-vis the fund managers of the funds which you have chosen. And if you are performing better than them, put more money into direct equity. If they are performing better than you, put more money into managed funds, which are mutual funds. So there are no answers for it, and since you're putting only 10% of your net worth, do both. But like I said, if your own performance is better than the funds, then remove money from the funds and put it here, or at least going forward put more money into your own managed portfolio, because you have a small hurdle rate of about 1% advantage you have. If your fund gets 10% and you get 9% on your own, you're still better off because your fund management charges could be in the region of 1.25%, right? So there are some advantages and some disadvantages. See what you're happening, go by numbers, don't go by sentiment. Thank you Arun. I hope I have answered your query. Shantanu Kaushik wants to know, what is the advice for a 22-year-old? Is having savings more important now? Yes, I would think having savings is more important. You should also start investing, no doubt about that, but knowing how to save as a 22-year-old is a challenge. So start doing that and start doing small, maybe 2,000 rupees per month kind of SIPs, but make a start. That's more important. I think that was the last of the questions, so let me answer some of the other questions. And if there is a market slump, should I do a lump sum investment or just continue my SIP? Please understand, this question can be answered only after the slump is over. Suppose the market is at 41,000 and it falls to 35,000 and you do a lump sum. Are you sure it will not fall to 32,000? Then are you willing to do a bigger lump sum then? So there is no answer to it, because answers can be given only in retrospect. Suppose the market falls from 42 to 32 and comes back to 42, then you wish, oh my god, I wish I had bought more at 32. Now let us take the scenario that it goes from 42 to 32, comes back to 35, and you hurriedly invest at 35, then it falls down to 27. You will have no clue what happened, you will have no clue what hit you. So I'll tell you what I did in March 2020. I went and looked at my portfolio and I said, do I mind adding some more Sun Pharma, some more EID Parry, some more Motherson Sumi, some more Cholamandalam to my portfolio in such a depressed market? The answer was I didn't mind. So I just went and bought Vedanta, I bought all this stuff just because the price had fallen and because these were companies which I anyway knew, right? So I went, I bought them, and as soon as it went up, maybe 50%, 60%, some even 100%, I sold off. I bought something like Intellect Design Arena at 54 or 55 and sold off at 120 or something. Today it is at 250 or thereabouts, right? So these things will happen. I anyway had Intellect Design Arena, and why did I sell it off? Simply because I knew I was taking advantage of a situation of the market panicking. There is no point in adding this to your portfolio and disturbing just because you have got them cheaper. Take your profits and go away, because these kind of situations will offer themselves again and again. So don't use this as an opportunity to reduce the average cost of your holding. That doesn't make sense, because you never saw this coming, right? But suddenly in 3 months or 4 months you're making 100%, 200%, 500%, whatever, right? Just take those profits and add. It's like adding tadka to your dal, right? Don't expect this to happen regularly. If it happens once in 5 years, that's great, that's about it. Don't try to use this as an opportunity to buy, because these have just fallen, right? You anyway have bought it, you know how to buy it, you know you've been buying it regularly over a period of time. So that's fine. So go on doing that. It should not stop me from adding more Motherson Sumi at a later date. But this transaction should be treated as a separate standalone transaction bought just because an opportunity gave itself. Take your profits, go home. That's the best thing to do. If you are happy adding more Motherson Sumi and disturbing your overall portfolio, which means you should have a significant stake and you should have bought a stake. Suppose you have 50,000 shares of Motherson Sumi and you went and bought 3,000 shares. It doesn't move the needle at all. But suppose you had 2,000 shares of Motherson Sumi and when it fell you went and bought another 1,500 or 2,000. That will move, that will reduce your average cost, and it will. So if you are now happy with the new portfolio that you have, great. But I would look at these opportunities as trading opportunities rather than as investment opportunities. Of course, I invested in things like Sun Pharma, which I have not sold. So there's no hard and fast rule as to what will work for you and what will not work. So be very careful. When the market falls, be ready for a greater fall. When the market goes up, be ready for a fall and then a greater rise. Both will happen. When the market goes up, people tell you it will never go down. When the market goes down, people tell you it will never go up. Both are wrong. Markets do whatever they have to do. We then go and attribute why it did this. Most of the times we are overconfident and therefore wrong. Okay, thank you.